This is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with us. We have alert days in the forecast as heavy rain could cause some flooding in southern Wisconsin.
Let's check your first warn forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, it doesn't seem like it out there with, even though it's warm, the humidity levels are still pretty far down, but that will change over the next 24 hours. As we take a look at visible cloud track, we've had bright sunshine. Notice at the bottom of your picture, those bands of clouds starting to work northward. That is actually the northern edge of what is now Tropical Depression Cristobal, and that continues to head northward. Now, the rain not even showing up on radar here. The storms that are producing severe weather over western Minnesota and eastern North Dakota. But tomorrow, there is a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms, high winds, and isolated tornadoes a possibility as the remnants move northward, and a flash flood watch has already been issued west of a Platteville to Lone Rock to Wisconsin Dells line. Temperatures right now, upper 80s to the lower 90s, Janesville 91, Madison 89, La Crosse right now 91. But look at the dew points, 60s to our north and west, but only 40s and 50s over southern Wisconsin. The air is drying out ahead of Cristobal. The heat index right now is actually a little bit lower than the actual temperature. There also is an air quality advisory for high levels of ozone until 11 p.m. for much of the eastern parts of our viewing area. Otherwise, look for a mild night tonight. Temperatures will drop into the mid-60s. Much of the day tomorrow will be dry, but showers and thunderstorms developing by about this time tomorrow afternoon could bring heavy rain and the potential for some severe weather. Tomorrow's high at 85. I'll have more details on what you can expect in just a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. The city of Houston holds a final public memorial for George Floyd 2 weeks after he died in police custody. Floyd grew up in the city, later moved to Minneapolis. The public viewing in Houston is the latest public event to honor Floyd, whose death touched off the massive protests nationwide against police brutality.
The American public is responding to this murder in a way that validates human life. Everyone has stopped and paused and said, can we make this one the last one?
Former Vice President Joe Biden and Texas Governor Greg Abbott both met privately with his family and offered their condolences. An invitation-only memorial service and private burial for Floyd will be held in Houston tomorrow.
A judge has set a $1 million bail for a Minneapolis police officer charged with second-degree murder in Floyd's death. Derek Chauvin said almost nothing during an 11-minute hearing from the state's maximum security prison in Oak Park Heights. His bail raised from $500,000 that was initially set in the case. Chauvin's next appearance is set for June 29th.
Calls to reform police practices are happening all over the country. One of the movements is called 8 Can't Wait, a list of 8 policy changes departments can make that people behind it say will make communities safer.
Amy Reed is live tonight to explain how local departments are already putting some of the policies to practice. Amy?
The departments I spoke to today, Madison, Fitchburg, and Janesville, are all mostly in compliance with these ideas. And after hearing from the community, some told me that they are open to doing more.
So much of policing has to do with the values and beliefs of an organization, coupled with policy and procedure to assure that what you want to have happen is happening.
After George Floyd was killed in the hands of police, Janesville Chief David Moore wondered why policy allowed what it did.
I was appalled to find out that Minneapolis allows that as part of their training. I thought that was gone decades ago. So I'm very surprised to see a police department that allows that tactic.
The killing caused police departments to look at their own policies, some checking against a nationwide call, 8 Can't Wait, 8 policies that Campaign Zero wants all departments to implement. Janesville PD said they've been working on most of these over the last decade. For the most part, they comply. But some policies, such as the ban on shooting at moving vehicles, aren't total.
Our orders are this year not to shoot at a moving vehicle. But there could be an exigent circumstance that would allow it. It's not an absolute.
This is an area in reform police departments can be more wary. They want policies written broadly enough to handle the unpredictable nature of the job and that allow officers to defend themselves if need be. The executive director of the state's largest police union said this shows up in other encouraged reforms, such as giving a verbal warning before using deadly force.
Obviously, there are instances in which that simply isn't possible, and that's because of actions of individuals to threaten the lives of a police officer or a member of the public.
He said some of the other areas like de-escalation, exhausting other alternatives, and duty to intervene are already in broad practice or policy across the state. He said the union is open to other measures, particularly ones that encourage accountability. He hopes the conversations can continue.
We need to find a way to start talking with one another rather than at one another.
Police department said that they are open to ideas from communities on how they can better their responses, but the union cautions that some reform, like moving to more community policing, could end up costing more, and he said policymakers should be prepared for that.
Amy, thank you.
The local organization Urban Triage, which has led some of the protests over the last week, hosted a panel today to talk about the city's plan to hire an independent police auditor and create a civilian police oversight body.
This is not new. Years ago, following the death of Tony Robinson, an ad hoc committee was created, and they recommended these steps along with more than 170 others. But now the city is posting those job openings. Our Amanda Quintana is here with what the organization hopes the auditor and the board will be able to do. Amanda?
At the protests we've seen throughout the last week, Urban Triage members often spoke about their demands, including defunding the police and getting community control over police. They feel an independent auditor and civilian oversight board is a step in the right direction, but it's not getting them to their end goal yet. They want to make sure the people chosen for the job have the power they're supposed to and are actually independent from the city. The auditor, with the power to investigate police's use of force following brutality incidents, monitor internal investigations, and sue the police department. One of the ad hoc committee members on today's panel said the auditor can also recommend an officer's discipline to the Police and Fire Commission and help find defense for the person bringing up a claim.
The Civilian Oversight Board, along with the independent auditor, would constitute the oversight mechanism. And I have to say, the way it's recommended, this would be quite likely the most effective, most progressive, closest to community control oversight mechanism of any city in the country.
The auditor is supposed to report to the Civilian Oversight Board, made up of a diverse group of people, including those with lived experiences of homelessness, struggles with mental health and substance abuse, and arrest or conviction records. But members of Urban Triage fear that Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway will try to make the auditor answer to her instead of the board, taking away power from the board and creating an auditor that is, quote, her poodle.
Amanda, thank you. Madison's Police and Fire Commission meeting tonight with talk of the protests and their impact on the agenda.
Our Madeline O'Neill joins us with a preview of what we can expect tonight. Maddie?
Well, the PFC will be hearing updates on COVID-19's effect on the fire and police department, but also on the impact of and response to recent protests. This comes, as Amanda told you, Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway is announcing the city will post that position of an independent police monitor as the city seeks members for a civilian oversight committee as well. In the mayor's message today, she says she's talking with the PFC about how best to select a permanent police chief committed to police reform and social justice goals. Now, a discussion of the police chief recruitment process is on tonight's agenda as well. Of course, this comes after former Chief Mike Koval retired last fall. That meeting starts virtually at 5:30. We'll be paying attention and get you an update on News 3 Now at 10.
Madeline, thank you.
The president met with law enforcement officials today while House and Senate Democrats held an 8-minute, 46-second moment of silence in memory of George Floyd before introducing a police reform bill. Among the changes, the bill would ban the use of chokeholds to subdue suspects and make it easier to prosecute officers for police brutality. Even if it passes the Democrat-controlled House, the measure likely faces an uphill battle in the Republican-controlled Senate.
A 64-year-old Wisconsin woman is facing charges after police say she was caught on camera spitting on a young protester during a rally Saturday. Protesters demanded that Stephanie Rapkin move her car after she parked it in the protesters' path. She's accused of then spitting on a teenager.
I continue to be mentally and physically shaken. To be assaulted by an adult in my own community during the pandemic was traumatic. Again and again, I am viewed not as a child, but as a color that destroys and does not uplift and love. I am disappointed and feeling unloved by individuals I've done no harm to. Injustice anywhere is a detriment to justice everywhere.
Rapkin's legal troubles continued after being released from jail. According to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, she was arrested again on Sunday for shoving a 21-year-old college student who wrote a message in chalk on the sidewalk in front of her home. When police arrived on the scene, she allegedly kneed a police officer in the groin.
Tomorrow night, Gayle King will anchor the CBS primetime special Justice for All, starting at 9 Central, right here on CBS. It explores how the activism we're seeing right now following the death of George Floyd could change racism within the ranks of law enforcement in the country forever. And we will continue to bring you the very latest information on the protests that are happening in Madison, and we'll have coverage later on News 3 Now at 10, our Facebook page, and at channel3000.com.
The two people killed in a fire in Madison last week have been identified. The Dane County Medical Examiner's Office identified the people as 21-year-old Keani Braxton from Janesville and 32-year-old Brent Brogy from Madison. It happened Thursday in the 2100 block of Seminole Highway. Two other people were injured. The cause of the fire remains under investigation.
Beloit police are investigating one shooting and 3 shots fired calls, all that happened within 5 hours last night. That first call came in after 7 on Moore Street near the Krieger-Haskell Golf Course. Then a few minutes later, police responded to a double shooting about a mile away on South Madison Road near the Woodmans. Both of those people are expected to be okay. Then around 11:30, officers responded to West Grand Avenue for another call where shots were fired, and an hour later, the last call on Hackett Street near the Abundant Life Church of Beloit. All of those cases were within 1 mile of each other. An 18-year-old man is in the hospital after a shooting on Madison's east side overnight. Happened just after 8 on East Washington Avenue near the Walgreens store. Madison police are calling it an attempted homicide, and they continue to investigate.
The U.S. economy entered a recession in February. That is according to a group of economists. They say employment peaked in February and fell sharply afterward, marking the beginning of the downturn. A committee within the National Bureau of Economic Research, a trade group, determines when recessions begin and end. It defines a recession as a, quote, decline in economic activity that lasts more than a few months. Meanwhile, the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development says nearly 20,000 Wisconsinites filed for unemployment last week. Since March 15th, 626,000 Wisconsinites filed for unemployment claims. DWD says 73% of those claims have been paid and about 16% are still processing. Almost $1.7 billion in benefits have been paid. DWD is still receiving a lot of calls. Last week alone, they received 1.3 million calls.
Wisconsin health officials say that 21,090 people have tested positive for coronavirus. Health officials didn't report any new deaths today, so the statewide death total remains at 647. 2/3 of people with confirmed cases of COVID-19 have now fully recovered from their infections. And today, 2.7% of new tests came back positive, slightly up from yesterday's 2.3%. There are 62 labs that can process over 15,000 new tests per day in Wisconsin.
2 Sauk County locations will offer free COVID-19 testing this week. Tomorrow, Reedsburg Ambulance will be conducting free testing starting at 8 a.m. They'll be testing on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 until noon. On Thursday, the National Guard will be offering drive-through testing at Bridges Elementary School in Prairie du Sac from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. People must register ahead of time. Sauk County health officials say they want to test 900 residents a week. Noah's Ark Water Park in Wisconsin Dells says the park will be opening for the 2020 season on June 20th. The park has implemented a series of safety measures to help fight the spread of COVID-19, including limited capacity, pre-entry temperature checks, sanitizing stations, and social distancing, among others. Walk-up tickets will be unavailable this summer. Tickets can only be purchased online.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, we could see some flooding in our area later this week. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti will have the latest in your first warn forecast. And coming up at 6, we're following up with business owners on State Street who are dealing now with property damage on top of the losses due to the pandemic. That's at 6. And a quick check of the markets to start the week. The Dow up more than 461 points. The NASDAQ adds about 111. The S&P 500 jumps 38.5. We'll be right back.
Slumberland's huge clearance event. Massive markdowns all over. Closeouts, floor samples, one-of-a-kind items. Plus, get totally free doorstep shipping. Hurry into our huge clearance event and save. Only at Slumberland Furniture.
Save big money on your next project with 11% off everything right now at Menards. Menards has what you need to start and finish your home improvement projects. Plus, you'll save 11% on all of it. Menards also offers contactless pickup. Order and pay for your items online and have one of our team members load your order into your vehicle with zero contact. Stop waiting and start saving with 11% off everything now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Good morning, class. Today's lesson is about shopping local. Do you know what day is coming up?
608 Day. You just go to MadisonMagazine.com, click on 608 Day to find great deals from businesses we love in the 608. You know, like the area code.
Very good, Emmy. When does this take place?
The week of June 8th, 608. Madison Magazine makes it easy to shop local.
She's my star student.
TSR Concrete Coatings is the nation's largest residential concrete coating company, proudly serving homeowners throughout Wisconsin. Our coatings are 4 times stronger than regular epoxy and won't chip, crack, or peel. They're impact resistant and UV stable. Our unique process begins with a base coat to seal cracks and level the surface, then flakes in the color pattern of your choice. A top coat is applied for a durable finished floor that can be installed in as little as 1 day. Act now to save 15% on your concrete coating project. Ask about 12 months, same as cash financing. TSR Nation is growing by the day with satisfied customers throughout Wisconsin, and we want you to be a part of it. As a special bonus, call during this program and receive a free TSR swag pack with your concrete coating project. Call 1-800-886-8411. That's 1-800-886-8411.
Slumberland's huge mattress clearance event. Crazy markdowns on all kinds of mattresses, like a Sealy Queen mattress as low as $149. Plus, overstocks, closeouts, floor samples. Hurry to Slumberland's clearance mattress event. Don't miss out.
After a sunny and hot start to the week, we're talking about some big changes in the forecast. Hattie's tracking 2 alert days as the remnants of a tropical system could bring heavy rainfall across southern Wisconsin. We're on the air at 4:30 with the latest storm track.
Congratulations, class of 2020, as you enter the next chapter of your exciting lives, poised to do great things. Know that News 3 Now will be there to share your amazing stories.
Cristobal, the 3rd named storm of the 2020 hurricane season, is now a tropical depression with winds of 35 miles per hour. That's according to the National Hurricane Center. It's located currently over Arkansas. Flooding from heavy rainfall is going to be the main threat from the storm as it continues to head northward. Flash flood watches extend from Louisiana as far north as northwestern Wisconsin, and it may spawn a few tornadoes, as Gary was mentioning, through tomorrow as it heads into the Midwest.
Now, to get a little more on how it might impact us, let's go to Gary for the very latest in our first warn weather.
Well, let's take a look at where Cristobal is right now. Currently located just to the south of Little Rock, Arkansas, with top winds of about 30 to 35 miles per hour. It is a tropical depression, but it is expected to head northward. By tomorrow morning, it should be over central Missouri, and by tomorrow evening, be approaching southwestern Wisconsin. Now, the path is important because the heaviest rain will probably fall very close to the center, but the farther you are away from it, you can see there will be bands of heavier thunderstorms. That could bring a tornado threat. And what's interesting is when tornadoes occur with tropical weather systems, a lot of times they spin in from the southeast. So if a tornado does develop, it may move in a direction that we might not normally see in Wisconsin. We're more likely to see them from normal thunderstorms coming in from the west or southwest. This bears some watching if they do occur. Then the whole system continues all the way up into Canada, with actually strengthening a little bit as it merges with another weather system and brings some high winds to central portions of Canada. So alert days are in the forecast for tomorrow, mainly tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night into Wednesday. So there is a severe weather threat late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, also some heavy rain. That's the best time for a heavy rain threat, but additional rainfall on Wednesday could lead to some flooding, and 2-day rainfall totals could be in the 1 to 3 inch range, especially with the heaviest amounts to the west of Madison. Right now, all the severe weather that's occurring is up in western western Minnesota and eastern North Dakota, everything's very quiet here because air flowing ahead of Cristobal is actually sinking, and so that dries out the air. But tomorrow, as thunderstorms develop, again, a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms, not a very high risk, but if the storms do develop, notice the tornado probability, pretty at least some tornado probability ahead of the storm, as well as the potential for high winds, especially over southern Wisconsin. But notice the hail threat. Very little hail threat because hurricanes and tropical weather systems have warm cores, so that you have warm air aloft, and you don't end up with the conditions that would produce hail. Rainfall, though, those amounts could be very heavy, especially closer to the Mississippi River. The exact placement of the heaviest rain band is still up for grabs, but right now it appears to be western Wisconsin is more likely to see rainfall of 2 to 3 inches with maybe some localized 4-inch amounts. On future track, you can see the moisture reaching us by tomorrow afternoon. This band of heavier thunderstorms moves on through about midnight as the system continues up into Michigan. Then the back part of the storm system could bring us additional shower or thunderstorm chances tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night, or Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night, and then we'll start clearing out after that. Otherwise, you can see this whole system will be following the jet stream right northward to where we've got a lot of warm air in place. In fact, temperatures are in the 90s with heat index values into the triple digits over much of Minnesota and Iowa. Our weather still very hot, but not as humid. So flash flood watch in effect from 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon until early on Wednesday morning for our western viewing area. There's also an air quality advisory until 11 p.m. tonight for the possibility for high amounts of ozone. Tomorrow's high temperature 85 early afternoon, then thunderstorms develop late in the day. And again, these thunderstorms start reaching us late tomorrow afternoon, move through tomorrow evening. Then we see a little bit of a break with some shower and thunderstorm chances later on Wednesday afternoon. Rainfall amounts heaviest in the western parts of our viewing area, but just a slight shift could make a big difference as to where those heaviest rainfall amounts occur. After that, look for those temperatures to drop off, but a drop in the humidity for the end of the week. And then as we head into the following week, temperatures warm back up into the 80s. As we take a look at first warn traffic, Beltline moving pretty steadily right now at Todd Drive. Not seeing any delays anywhere on the Beltline or on I-39, 90, 94 in the eastern part of Madison. Travel times right now, 14 minutes either direction on the Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison, 26 minutes down to Janesville on I-39, 90 from the Beltline southward. 16 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and a quick 13 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Warn traffic.
Gary, thank you. Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, UW student athletes are making their return to campus. What the school is doing to make sure they stay safe.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Take a break from cooking at home and order takeout from your local Monk's Bar and Grill. Monk's is offering curbside pickup takeout service for your safety and convenience during these difficult times. Visit monksbarandgrill.com for takeout menus and online ordering.
Here's to all the farm and fleet dads, the ones who get the job done right, the ones who work hard and take pride in what they do, the ones who take the time to pass it on. Show your appreciation this Father's Day with a gift you know he'll love from his favorite store, Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Like this Milwaukee drill driver kit, only $159. Half off this screwdriver set with rack, $16.99. And for Dad's best friend, save $3 on Purina Pro Plan dog food. Plus, a Blaine's Farm and Fleet gift card is always the perfect gift.
Fry Construction is having a sale they've never done before for times we've never seen before, making it the perfect time for home repairs and improvements. With exclusive offers to save you money on roofing, siding, windows, gutters, and design services, all with 0 down, 0% interest, and no monthly payments for 6 months. Plus free virtual consultations from the comfort and safety of your own home, or we will come see you following strict safety protocols. Visit fryconstruction.com for exclusive money-saving offers and contact us today.
Seeing the joy that people feel when they share a meal with family and friends, that's why we do this. The laughter of kids around the table, the thrill of families driving through for a treat, the delight of not having to cook, and instead letting us safely serve you. It all comes back to taking care of each other. And for that, we'll be here with your favorites and always a smile.
How to
get more out of your Wisconsin Dells vacation. Ride more rides, slide more slides, maybe even go for a train ride. Have more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Bite off more than you can chew. Who says less is more? More like more is more. Now that's more like it. Hey, you're getting more than you bargained for. All the more reason to do a little more. Need I say more? Wisconsin Dells. That's more like it. Go to wisdells.com and start planning your trip to the water park capital of the world today.
For years, iMart Express has provided quality eyewear and same-day service to your community. With sights set on the path forward, we continue to rally together to keep your future in focus. Get 2 pairs of single-vision glasses for under $40 and 2 pairs of progressives for under $80. We've implemented additional measures to ensure the safety of everyone that comes into our stores. We thank our local heroes for your dedication to our community. For more information, visit imartexpress.com.
Take a break from cooking at home and order takeout from your local Monk's Bar and Grill. Monk's is offering curbside pickup takeout service for your safety and convenience during these difficult times. Visit monksbarandgrill.com for takeout menus and online ordering.
UW-Madison student athletes are starting to return to campus. UWBadgers.com says Badger football and volleyball players are being allowed to return for voluntary athletic activities. This after COVID-19 halted college athletics across the country in March. UW-Madison says all athletes will schedule physical exams and undergo testing for COVID-19, and they will also be screened daily before entering UW athletic facilities. Masks will be worn by all student athletes and staff members at all times other than during their conditioning activities.
Well, sports starts back up. Doctors are reminding athletes and parents things will be a little different going forward because of the pandemic. There are a lot of unknowns right now. For instance, some sports competition will be extremely limited or eliminated altogether. There will be social distancing for spectators and maybe even for participants as well. Health experts say that there will be a lot of changes moving forward. Could be difficult playing sports in the fall and winter.
Now that the weather is nice and we can be outside, I think that allows for some amount of return to sports. I think that is more possible because we can be outside and be physically distanced. I do have concerns about what things are going to look like when fall and winter come, and more indoor sports, want to get started, or it's just not possible to play sports outside as much.
Well, the WIAA has not made an announcement what it plans to do about fall high school sports in Wisconsin. Final check of your first one forecast in just a moment. Stay with us.
We at Patriot Paving want to remind you we're all in this together. Be kind. Enjoy the time with your family. Help your neighbor. We can and will get through this together and be stronger than before. Stay calm, stay positive, and we'll see you soon.
I'm not used to taking care of things on my own. My wife, my sweetheart, took care of me for 46 years, and I've loved every moment. When the doctor gave her 6 months, all she wanted was to spend it at home with me. Now it's my turn to take care of her. I know Agrace will help me care for the one I've loved my whole life.
Agrace, Hospice, and Palliative Care. Just call. Agrace will help.
Good morning, class. Today's lesson is about shop and welcome. Do you know what day is coming up?
608 Day. You just go to MadisonMagazine.com, click on 608 Day to find great deals from businesses we love in the 608. Like the area code.
Very good, Emmy. When does this take place?
The week of June 8th, 608. Madison Magazine makes it easy to shop local.
She's my star student.
At Papa Murphy's, we need seriously, chop seriously, and shred seriously. Because we're serious about Tuesdays, even if you're not. Every Tuesday, get a large pizza for just $10. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
All right, I brought in Ensure Max Protein to give you the protein you need with less of the sugar you don't. I'll take that.
30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. Ensure Max Protein with nutrients to support immune health.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with ovarian cancer after regular use of Johnson & Johnson baby powder? You may be entitled to compensation. On May 19, 2020, Johnson & Johnson announced it will discontinue selling its talc-based baby powder products in the U.S. and Canada after thousands of lawsuits alleging asbestos contamination led to a 60% decline in sales over the past 3 years. Substantial verdicts have already been awarded against Johnson & Johnson because of their failure to warn the public of this risk, including a $4.69 billion verdict in July 2018 and 3 other verdicts totaling over $614 million. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer after regular use of Johnson & Johnson baby powder for feminine hygiene purposes, you may be entitled to compensation. How do you fight for the compensation you deserve? You choose the right legal team that has the experience, support staff, and resources to get you the most compensation for your injuries. Call now.
We at Patriot Paving want to remind you we're all in this together. Be kind. Enjoy the time with your family. Help your neighbor. We can and will get through this together and be stronger than before. Stay calm, stay positive, and we'll see you soon.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News, we're in Houston tonight where thousands of mourners have gathered here at this church to pay respects to George Floyd as Officer Derek Chauvin appeared in court in Minnesota. Plus, a CBS News exclusive. We sit down with Democratic nominee for President Joe Biden after his meeting with the Floyd family. And how a wall blocking protesters from the White House has become a tribute and a call to action for those demanding change. That's all tonight here on the CBS Evening News.
And Gary's here with a final check.
You know, it's very nice out there right now. There's hardly a cloud around. That's because the air that's sinking is drying out ahead of the remnants of Cristobal. But you can see for tomorrow a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms with maybe an isolated tornado and some high winds. Flash flood watch in effect west of Platteville to Lone Rock to Wisconsin Dells line from 1 p.m. tomorrow until 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning. And an air quality advisory for high levels of ozone for Dane County and areas to the north and east. That in effect until 11 o'clock this evening.
All right, we'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.